So welcome everybody to the September 11th Ortelius Outreach Meeting. The only big item on the agenda today is Hacktoberfest, and I think everything is all lined up except we need to create some more issues for folks to work on. So we'll have to. I'll work on that this week. We got a couple weeks, work on it this week and next week, to get some more issues out there for
I was
people.
thinking of some ways to do some issues is maybe we break down the documentation and ask people to run it through Grammarly.
Yeah.
Those would make for a really easy pull request, I think.
Yeah. And
but it's all in Markdown. Do you think that it's possible to do it that way?
I've never tried.
I don't know how.
I know you could take the rendered page and run it through Grammarly or Chat GPT. But I've never tried a Markdown file.
Not sure.
There is an online Markdown editor which like this easily sortable. So let me share it with you.
So is there well, I guess it doesn't really matter. I'll try it once and see how hard it is. But that would be really good if we had kind of scrubbed the documentation for, grammatical errors. I guess you could just take it out of Markdown and put it in a document and do it that way.
I have shared it in the chat.
Yeah.
Maybe we should create more like documentation issue this time, because the harder issues people didn't contribute much on like complex issue.
Yeah, I think. Well, let me play with because this one that you just sent looks like an online Markdown editor. It doesn't look like it fixes sentence structure and grammatical things. So, and that's what we really need to clean up is.
Yeah, spelling, misspelled words, poorly written sentences.
Yeah.
It would be nice if there was a Grammarly that avoided the Markdown.
Let me see.
Hi.
Hi there.
Sorry.
Hello there. Hi, Nima.
How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for joining.
Thank you.
We're having a small meeting today.
Yes. Thank you for inviting me to this interview.
Absolutely. Nima, if you have you joined the Google group yet?
Google Group, yeah. And I think many times ago we had a meeting with you about some things for introduce myself, about my skills, about.
Yep.
Yeah.
So here is I've just put in the chat today's meeting notes. If you want to add your name to that, so we know that you showed up.
Yeah.
And we are discussing what we need to do to include more pull requests for Hacktoberfest, more issues for Hacktoberfest.
Oh, okay.
Hang on, I just found.
I suppose if we did that with having people run it through Grammarly or something like that, we would still have to go through and edit it. So we would probably have to get a few of us to be willing to look at before we approve the pull request, to read through it. which is doable. I can do that.
Yeah, I can't. Let me just do it this way. I'm just gonna try
I
Chat
have an
GPT.
idea. Can we restructure our whole blog this time if there is any changes needed?
Yeah, so um the the blogs and the documentation are in two separate repos. So we can go ahead and do both at the same time, as well as we can do, everything will happen on a pull request. So, we shouldn't have any problems with multiple people working on stuff.
Yeah. Because in this Hacktoberfest time, I am thinking about I can do this all like properly every day. Will give you like my reports, and in this way, like before the our December Ortelius meeting, we have our new website ready.
Let's see. I just sent this stuff off to Chat GPT and see what it does.
Yeah, might be the other way to do it, is to run it through Chat GPT. But I have not seen the really good results with some of the stuff that comes out for editing. I tried it on a couple of documents and it didn't look right.
Yeah, it's thinking about it now.
Well, I think that's still a good first time pull request for people to do. The other thing I was thinking about, and this is probably a little probably too advanced, is are we too early on to start creating some PyTorch workflows for doing some basic modeling about risk of a particular object?
We have no data to model.
Well, we have some. We have some enterprise data. So we could say, we could look at how many, I'll just take the log4j example. We could produce a workflow that says if there are, I don't know, too many applications using the same packages, that there's a high risk involved in it, and produce a list of things that need to be done to remediate that. That's something that could be put in a workflow.
So I was thinking about this last week. Right now, we do not capture anybody's workflows.
No, I'm talking about building AI workflows with PyTorch to go and do things based on the data we do have.
Right. So what we need to do is we can create those PyTorch workflows, those ML workflows to look at our data.
Yeah.
We have to decide what we're going to try to use the data for. So like I was saying, right now we can't go in updates like somebody's Jenkins file because we don't have anybody's Jenkins file.
No, I get that. I totally understand that, Steve.
So it would have
that.
to,
But for the data that we currently have, not the data we don't have, but could potentially maybe some folks who might want to look at the data we currently have and start creating some workflows.
Yes, we can do that.
I think that might be a kind of a fun thing to do for Hacktoberfest.
Yes, we can set up somebody will have to look at what all the different steps to set that up, and that could be the what the issues are is to define a problem statement, define the expected outcome, and then define the ML workflow to make that happen.
Right, exactly. And that data could be based off of just the SBOM data that we have and where
Yes.
things are deployed to.
Yes, we can take a look at that.
Okay. I think that would be an interesting, might be interesting project for some folks. We could just create a completely separate milestone out there, which call it, ML workflow milestone 1, and create some Hacktoberfest issues out there on that.
Yep.
All right, I will update. And even for people to take a look at it and say, here's the data. This is what this is what and go ahead and do it. They could do whatever they think that would work.
Yes. So what we would need to do is they would have to look at the deploy hub database because that's where all the data is right now, is in the deploy hub team database.
Okay, well, that's fine.
Which is fine.
We don't have another place for it anyway, right?
No, not now that we took down the Azure cluster.
Right.
That database is gone.
Right. So the other option is that we get rid of deploy hub team and we just rebrand that whole thing as Ortelius, and we're supporting Ortelius.
Yeah, I'd have to look at what we would need to do on that front.
Okay. Arvin, you have any thoughts about that?
I'm just thinking that does it safe to like expose our data to new people?
I think it's safe. I don't think right now anything that we have. I mean, if they're working on the project, I think it's safe. What do you think, Steve?
I'd have to look at, because right now we don't have like a
Uh,
disclaimer on
be-
the team that we're going to share their data.
uh, because mainly people copy that data and sell it to someone else.
Right.
Well,
So
we
it
wouldn't be
would be
exposing emails or names. It would just be exposing open source data.
right. So it'd be anonymized data, which I think we would be fine with.
Yes, or
Hey,
maybe
Brian.
small sample.
Yeah, so
Brian.
we have we have like 18,000 versions of components out there.
Right. So I feel like we should be able to create some ML workflows around that.
Like I said, it'll be a good place to start looking at the data because sometimes looking at a smaller subset is easier to understand than when you're looking at a couple
Right.
terabytes of data.
Yeah.
So, realistically, to get a good ML model, we'll probably need a couple million rows, a couple million versions. But I think, like Arvin was saying, taking a look at what we have to understand it will be a good starting point.
I think so too.
And like the big thing is figuring out, like I said, the problem statement and the expected outcome. And I think we can write, and that would just be documentation laying out, and that would be issues and pull requests and stuff like that. So that can all be contributed as part of Hacktoberfest.
Right. Right. So I think that we should take a look at that a little closer as a possibility.
Hey, Brian, do you know if CloudBees ever exposed any of their data that they collected out to the public?
No, in terms of I mean, absolutely. In terms of the enterprise product, no. And then when we talk about Jenkins, which I think you're referring to, um, as far as I know, there was no centrally collected sort of data, and I'd say there was no meaningful data shared publicly other than survey and statistics data, right? Like kind of
Yeah.
high level, top level usage and survey data.
Yeah. Okay. I wasn't sure if they were scraping stuff and keeping track of historical data. But
Well,
okay.
so I mean, one of just a quick note, and maybe we have a separate conversation about this amongst us, but it just triggered for me that they are going to have to tackle that problem. I think you guys know I was considering joining, and one of the things that is active that I might have helped with is figuring out the AI and ML path. So I think it'll be interesting there. And I know, Steve, you're saying, can we go acquire that data, ingest it, and use it for these purposes, I believe. But if we can't do that, if they have an interest in the space, then maybe there's room for Ortelius to just go directly and solicit some of the data that they do have internally.
Right. And that's you know, like with all the vulnerability stuff, that's public data that's then aggregated together by the OpenSSF, things like that. That's why I wasn't sure if there is public data that we could then aggregate together as well when we start looking at our data models.
We should talk to Mark Wade about it, actually, I think.
Yeah, the irony is I'm here in New York. They have DevOps World Tour in 2 days in New Jersey, and I've been debating whether or not I was going to try to stay. Mark Wade's going to be there. Sasha's going to be there. Sean's going to be there. I think at this point I'm going to have to fly home tomorrow, though. I may reach out. Tracy, let's maybe talk after this call
Sure.
about that.
All right, cool. So I'll work on getting some of the issues out there around that. I am not a data scientist, so I don't know. Arvin, you've done a little bit of data scientist stuff, right?
I have done the ML stuff.
ML stuff. Okay. So you're gonna be the technical lead on all this.
I think Utkarsh will join also
All right.
because he was a data engineer in his previous job.
Sounds good. Yeah, so what we'll have to do is we'll have to make sure that we solicit out to the contributors and see if we can pull some of the folks that have some familiarity in the data science to look at what we're how the issues are laid out and if that makes sense to a data scientist that comes in and wants to do some Hacktoberfest stuff.
Yeah, so
That's a
we're
good
trying to.
idea.
Because this can be like wording and things like that. My wording and what a data scientist thinks of things is probably not the same, is my guess. But we'll get figured out.
Yeah, it'd be good just to get it going, get it started.
Kind of on that same note, there was, like I was saying, I was thinking one of the things that we should add is collecting the workflows themselves. So the Jenkins files, the GitHub actions, and versioning those along with the component.
Yeah, if we can do that, I think we definitely should add that.
We do have that information. I just don't know. I'm assuming we may have to do like a little opt out or opt in type of thing for people to allow us to do that instead of just doing it by default.
Probably.
Just because some people still have hard-coded passwords in their Jenkins files. So,
Yeah.
which is not unusual. Does and my gap in kind of understanding what we looked at and what we do with it is too large to probably close in the next few minutes. But why would secrets be an issue if you're going to ingest public Jenkins workflows? why are passwords and secrets an issue? Do you need to be able to run them? Is that
No, we just want to make sure that when because when we would grab it, it would be at runtime. So at that point, when we grab the Jenkins file at runtime, some of those secrets and passwords are going to be exposed. So it just we just have to look at, like in the environment variables and things like that, there are things that we can grab, and I don't want to grab somebody's secret by accident and then store it publicly.
okay? Got it. Right, makes sense.
Even though things
But-
are trying to be hidden, and I got to look at what we can do, what we need to grab. I starting to think about when we talk about from an AI ML perspective, going and fixing people's workflows, and make them better. The Jenkins, GitHub Actions, GitLab stuff, how we go about doing that and what data that we need. And that would be one of the things that we would need. The other thing that would be, the other way we could go is grab the logging output from that and use the log to figure out like the steps that they went through. So like one of the things you want to double check is, did you do a security scan or generate a SBOM in your workflow? We'll just say, did this workflow generate a SBOM? And if it didn't generate a SBOM, then where in the Jenkins file would we tell or recommend through an AI model, this is where you need to have basically generate a pull request saying this is going to be the step that you need to add into your Jenkins file to make it more secure type of thing.
Awesome. Good.
That's the long, the short of the long. All right. So are we all good on Arvin, are you all good on the Hootsuite and being able to use Tweet X and all that from Hootsuite for pushing out Hacktoberfest?
Yeah, I will do it this week.
Okay.
Uh,
Because Tracy and I are going to be on vacation next week, so if you can get into Hootsuite and get some things queued up on the calendar, that'd be great about Hacktoberfest.
uh, yeah, I will do it in like 1 2 days, and like I will ping you or Tracy to take a look
Okay,
about that work.
And I'll try to get more issues out there. I know we have like a landing page that will have all the issues and stuff, so that will continually be updated as we get closer to Hacktoberfest and we get more issues out there that will be able to update that landing page. And you could use that landing page as part of your tweets and stuff, LinkedIn messages.
Thank you. Yeah, just post it in the like DAP channel, and I will grab it from there.
Okay. Yep. All right. Cool. Anybody else have anything that I may have missed?
don't think so.
All righty. Well, thanks everybody. And I will Arvin, I'll push out onto Discord when I get things out there and updated so everybody knows that the issues have been created and where the links are and stuff like that.
Okay, sounds great.
All right, thanks everybody.
Awesome. Hey Tracy, you think you might be up to just hang on here with me
Yeah.
for
Yeah, let
Oh,
me just stop the
stop
recording
recording.
if I can find it.